Hello and a warm welcome to another edition of Big Picture. I'm Neelu. In one of its worst rail tragedies, 14 coaches of Indore-Patna Express were thrown off the track near Kanpur, killing more than 140 people and injuring more than 200 people on Sunday. Passengers were jolted out of their sleep by a loud bang, followed by violent rattling as the coaches leaped from the tracks and smashed up against each other. An inquiry has been instituted to probe into the reasons for the accident, as is the case after any serious accident. But this incident again raises questions on rail safety. Why can the governments of the day not treat safety of passengers as a dominant issue rather than talking about the peripherals like bullet trains, Wi-Fi and catering for the passengers? Joining me now are some of the brightest minds who can dissect the Indian Railways and its problems. Ganapathy Subramaniam, Chief of Bureau, Puthiya, Thalaimurai; Prempal Sharma, Executive Director, Board of Railways; Shiv Gopal Sharma, who is Secretary General, All India Railway Men's Federation. And also joining us on the phone line is Arvind Kumar Singh, who is a Senior Assistant Editor, Rajya Sabha TV. Welcome all of you, sir, on the show. And let me start with Arvind Kumar Singh, who again is joining us on the phone line. Arvind ji, if I could start from you. After any railway accident, a routine inquiry is instituted. A commission report comes out after many months, when the people have actually forgotten about the accident. Do you think that the governments of the day have been treating railway safety as an issue of priority? I think there's some disruption in the line. If I could ask you, Mr. Ganapathy, to start with, do you think that the governments of the day have been really treating railway safety as an issue of priority?
In your introduction, you touched upon a very important point. As a passenger,
right,
the first thing I want is to reach from point A to point B.
Right.
I want to reach on time and I want to reach safely. Other issues like if there is Wi-Fi or not, if there is different types of food or not, that is all immaterial. I want to be very safe and I want to reach on time. These are the two important things. And there should be no compromise on that. Whatever the government does, it should first take steps for timely passenger transport from one place to another, and secondly, safety of the passengers inside the train and on the platforms. That should be the top priority.
Mr. Prempal Sharma, you've been part of the railway board. You've just retired. You actually know the nuances, the in and out of what the problem inside the railway system is. Now, take for example yesterday's accident. What actually went wrong? According to your assessment, what went wrong?
If you recollect the press reports, there was some problem in S2 bogie. Driver complained it to the concerned authorities in Jhansi.
Right.
They just ignored, chalta hai. And they asked him, okay, you take it this train to Kanpur. Now, you see, that is whenever any the safety, what he rightly said, that safety should be the top priority. Whosoever the officer or the whole structure, why they ignore this? It is not only the first time, every time it is. If you recollect the last 10 years, whether it is Gaishal or Kishanganj accident or I think 5 years, 6 years back when Mr. Trivedi was just taken over as minister and then the same day near Kanpur. So every time I think how long we will continue to ignore this aspect. Then there is some complaint from the lower staff. They are identifying problem and even then they are not attending that. So if what minister is saying that we will take drastic action, if action is taken and now some remedial, I think in future it should we should take care of that.
Mr. Shiv Gopal Mishra, what according to you is the real problem? Like what he has just pointed out, that the chalta hai approach has already, has always existed in this system. When you talk to the gangmen, the linemen, all of the people who are actually operating on the field, are they actually sensitized towards safety, that safety has to be the utmost priority? From where is the problem? Where is the deficiency? The actual loophole, if I could call, where is the problem rooted to?
First of all, I beg your excuse. I may differ to some points of my elder brother Sharma ji.
Right.
We are running almost 22,000 trains every day.
Right.
We are carrying almost more than 2.4 crore people of this country on our trains. means entire population of the Australia and New Zealand, we used to carry on our trains. And I am very sure, I am representative of those people, that is not the issue. I am also citizen of this country. I am also traveling almost all the 20 days on the trains in every month.
Right.
So my safety is also important. I don't agree that there is a chalta hai in railways.
Okay.
Our people are more sensitive and they are not less than any defense sort of
yesterday,
things. Just kindly bear with me. So gangmen, technicians, or you say the senior section engineers, everybody used to be on job. They know that what is to be done. The unfortunate is that there are in every department there are some vacancies. There are vacancies of more than 1,52,000.
Right.
So this stress is on the workers. Moreover, the workforce or the manpower required for the maintenance of the trains or the our tracks.
Right.
That is not available.
So basically, you're pointing at a very serious problem, and that is the shortage of staffs as well. They are not motivated. If I could go to Arvind ji, I think he's connected to us. Arvind ji, if you could hear me, what is the real situation of the manpower in railway? As Mishra ji has just pointed out, that there is a severe crisis of manpower. How serious is the problem, and whom would you really blame for accidents like these which have just happened on Sunday?
देखिए नीलू जी, जैसे अभी मिश्रा जी कह रहे थे, एक बात तो सही है कि जब हम 1990-91 की बात करते हैं उदारीकरण की, उस समय जो है भारतीय रेल के पास जो है करीब 19 लाख के करीब मैन पावर थी जो है। आज जबकि जो है ट्रेनें जो है 2 गुना से ज्यादा हो गई हैं, करीब जो है जैसे बता रहे हैं मिश्रा 22,000 के आसपास हो गई हैं। वहाँ मैन पावर घट के 13 लाख हो गया है, और उसमें भी जो सेफ्टी कैटेगरी है उनकी बहुत खराब हालत है। और ये जो है मिश्रा जी खुद काफी लंबे समय तक लड़ते रहे। जो गैंगमैन है ये 400-500 गैंगमैन तो जो है पटरियों की सुरक्षा करते हुए शहीद हो जा रहे हैं, उसको नोटिस में नहीं लिया जा रहा। तो ऐसा नहीं है, जो नीचे के लेवल पर जो गैंगमैन है ये तो बहुत ही एक तरह से सबसे निरीह जो है और सबसे जरूरी जो है वो तत्व है, लेकिन इनकी तरफ ज्यादा ध्यान नहीं। तो मुझे लगता है कि मैन पावर में भी जो सेफ्टी कैटेगरी है उन पर बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान देने की जरूरत है जी, और उनकी भी सेफ्टी, और साथ ही साथ ये प्रायोरिटी तय करने की जरूरत है कि आप जो है रेल जो है रेलवे का एक्सप्लेन तो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन सेफ्टी और सिक्योरिटी में जो कि इसके पहले काकोदकर कमेटी की रिपोर्ट थी, बहुत सारी और रिपोर्टें थी, उनकी दिशा में कुछ काम हुआ नहीं नीलू जी।
राइट
जी,
ठीक है। What Arvind ji has just pointed out the fact that various reports, there is no dearth of the reports. You name it and you have it over there. Inquiry committees are there, Anil Kakotkar committee reports, Sam Petroda, the most recent ones to name for, they have just been gathering dust. And it's not that the authorities don't know about it. They very well know, they are very well aware of the recommendations given by them, but still the wisdom is not being acted upon. What is the major reason for that?
See, first of all, there is no doubt, no question of saying that the railways are doing great service to the country. Is the best form of transport today,
that's
the cheapest form of
yeah.
transport. But at the same time, we have to update ourselves according to the needs. The needs are growing, the demands are growing. So why should they stop hiring manpower? Because they are short of finance. Adequate finance should be provided, adequate manpower should be provided, and a lot of automation should take place.
Right.
The current minister and the previous predecessors also, they are trying to do a lot of things.
Right.
But first things first. First things should be fixed. Manpower issues should be sorted out. Equipment shortage should be sorted out. Infrastructure should be sorted out. Jhansi, for example, is a very prominent, very major junction. It's a छोटा मोटा कोई वो नहीं है. Jhansi से एक train जो है, without setting right the problems, how can it go? That is a big question.
But Mr. Sharma, he pointed out towards investments. We are talking about investments for bullet trains. We are talking about investments for Wi-Fi's, catering, which are very peripheral issues. Of course, they are not as basic as the railway safety. Do you think that the political leaders or the political class, irrespective of which government has been in power, has basically treated railway just as a political tool and not as an asset? And maybe that's why the investments are going in the wrong direction? Do you feel so?
If we learn some lesson from this accident,
okay.
You see that there are two problems. One report is that there is some fracture in the track,
right.
And second, the bogie, they were the ICF design.
Right.
Had it been the new LSB coaches, that the damage or the casualty would not have been that much. So now those bogies are only on Shatabdi and Rajdhani.
Right.
So now these kind of passengers train which are not that important, politician, railway officers,
non-VIP trains.
non-VIP train. So they hardly have any, and every time they cry for that we don't have sufficient money. I agree what Mishra is saying. There are vacancies are there, but if we focus on this incident, here question was not the somebody was not there. No, they may be hard pressed. थके हुए हो सकते हैं, no doubt.
You've raised an important point to which I'm going to go to Gopal Mishra ji on this. He raised things like security or the maintenance of tracks. When you have a Shatabdi or a Rajdhani moving on a track, you would probably see people being more sensitive, people monitoring the maintenance of the tracks more cohesively, you know, as compared to whenever the trains like Indore-Patna Express would travel. So do you see this kind of a difference when it comes to monitoring of the maintenance?
This is a fact, because when a train with the speed of the 130 kilometers is on the track, so people become more sensitive.
Right.
Because of the speed of the train. There is no question of that is a VIP train or that. But if a train is running with 130 kilometer speed,
right,
or even 150 kilometer speed, then one have to be quite sensitive, and he must observe.
But why can't you have the same sensitivity for the low speed trains also?
You are very correct, that should be. That should be.
And that's where the problem
but
is.
unfortunate thing is that there again the same problem comes. This North Central Railway itself is having 26% shortage of the trackman category, which is basically responsible for the maintenance of the track.
Right.
If they have 26% shortage, it means the continuous patrolling will not be possible.
Right.
The railway board says that there should be 2 patrolmen during the night, and particularly nowadays when day is warm and nights are very cold, so there are always chances that there can be something with the track.
Can I add something?
Yes, yes. Go ahead, sir.
Now for signalling and track, whether it is Shatabdi or Rajdhani, the same. The question is only the hauling, that the coaches,
right.
How. So now the old coaches, when these kind of coach, ICF coaches are there, damage is much higher. So now we have to replace them. Kakodar committee and all committees are saying we should. But whenever we ask for the replacement,
we have just about 10% of LHB coaches in circulation.
And so now, your question, where from investment will come? Now our investment is going for bullet train, for Wi-Fi, as rightly pointed out by the earlier minister. So now priority area is becoming that. So now unless we focus equally on these things, plus change the work culture. Once again I will say.
Right.
Now,
but before I speak to you on the work culture, there was a fund called Depreciation Reserve Fund, Development Fund. These kind of funds are continuously depleting. If you look at the figures in 2008 and 2009 and what it is today, there is a drastic fall from 10,000. I mean, it has come down by many quantums, you know. So it again goes to show that the government is not serious about budgeting railways properly, does it?
Of course, passenger travel is subsidized, okay, and we try to make up some part of it by freight charges.
Right.
But even that doesn't really make it. Today, if the real charges have to be collected from passengers will have to pay much more.
Right.
But that's okay. You are trying to help them by subsidizing them, but at the same time, you should also keep them safe. Bring the investments needed. Why not have private sector investment? Why, if roads can be built by the private sector, why can't trains be run by the private sector? Why can't tracks be built? Today, America President-elect Trump is saying our infrastructure is very old, it has to be rebuilt.
Right.
And why Indian infrastructure should not be rebuilt? Gauge conversion has to be done everywhere. And then these modern technologies have to be introduced to prevent these accidents. Collision, there are so many devices which prevent collision, so many other things.
But Mishra ji, replacement of old assets, he's raised an important point. Replacement of old assets like tracks, the
problem is that we talk of the investment, we talk of the new technology,
right.
We talk of the TPWS, we talk that if the track is somewhere damaged, the train must stop. That technology is available in the world, and we should adopt that. Everybody says like that. But when it comes that some of the fare, passenger fare should be increased, there will be a lot of hue and cry. Unfortunate is that since last 15-20 years, there has not been any increase in the passenger fare. We are subsidizing from our freight to the our passenger.
And the freight is also at an all-time low at the moment.
And no, freight is very high. Our freight is going to the road only because of this reason.
Okay.
The problem is
no, I'm talking about the railway freight, which is at an all-time low.
For that, the politicians are truly responsible.
Okay.
Because they don't have courage to increase the fare.
Right.
There has been time that the fare has been reduced to some extent.
So if the
that should
political
not be there.
class...
But one thing you must understand, that simply by collecting the fare, you are not going to have the railway line world class, or you cannot maintain the railway tracks and the railway rolling stock. For that, you have to find some investment, you have to find some other source. But what my brother has said, I 100% opposed to that.
Okay.
Because privatization is no solution for the Indian Railways. Because the trains which we are running, this what you talk of the Wi-Fi, what you talk of the e-catering, what you talk all these things, these are for the shoshabaji for only 5% people. The 95% the user of this country is a poor person. He looks Indian Railways. He don't have that money that he will he can fly by air. So if we want to serve them, then that is not possible that the government should not take this responsibility. Since last month 63 years, the railways have been in the service of our poor people, common people of this country. So, Tata, Adani or anybody, they cannot give this service.
Right. But if
in such a low fare and in economic.
But if I were to ask you, if a serious accident like what happened on Sunday, if it takes place, whom would you actually blame? Can you blame the gangman? Can you blame the minister? Can you blame the British Raj from which we inherited the existing railway system?
No,
whom do you blame
at least
actually?
not the gangman, the system. Once again, I will come to what Mr. Mishra said. No doubt railway is the lifeline.
Why I took the name of the gangman is that the poor soul will be hollowed up by the political class, or somebody, some phone will come and then say it's your fault.
Once again, our lower staff works much harder than our higher officers.
Okay.
And now we have to change this culture. You rightly said the British, that same system traditional. But once again, what I disagree with Ms. Mishra ji, the same socialist model of 50s cannot work now. Now on the day of Chhath, everybody was rushing
to Patna. So which means you would be open to maybe
what I'm saying,
partnership to the
for
railways?
Mishra ji also for 10 years, they were asking for the increase in fares. For example, for Patna, they are paying 20,000. If I ask to pay for railway, everybody will start crying, no doubt. So we should have reasonable structure so that our subsidy to passenger is reduced. Because how we can change our bogies if we don't money? How we can change our track? How we can repair our 11,000 bridges? So everything requires money. So to raise money, this is one aspect. And second, once again I will repeat, there has been now, we are in a different world where work culture, competition is there. No longer we can कि ठीक है दफ्तर पहुंच गए कभी भी चले जाएंगे every time. So now out of 100 rupees 70 we are already taking away.
But Ganapathy, if you look at the journey right from Nitish Kumar, who was projected as bringing railways back from the brinks, then it was Lalu Prasad who was very quickly he took the credit and took credit for the financial management. Then Mamata Banerjee was seen to almost destroy railways and bring it to the collapse. If you look at the journey in between, there was a safety cess also which came up. How much money is actually being collected through that? Is anybody even monitoring that amount which is coming? Where is it going? Do we have some kind of a record of where all this fund is going? Where is it collecting? To which direction is it moving?
No, many of these ministers have been scoring political points.
Okay.
मैंने fare increase होने नहीं दिया, मैंने कम कर दिया.
Right.
So these kind of attitude,
so
and they were happy
which I
with
rightly
it.
pointed out that you're treating it as a political tool.
Laluji kept on adding coaches. Everybody knows.
Right.
Sometimes it went out of the platform also. The platforms are not long enough. Like that, it kept on happening. But other ministers are also to equally blame. But finally, now 2017, they are saying they will merge the railway budget and the general budget together.
Right.
At least now the government should stop all this, be realistic, and like Mishra ji said, raise the fares, be bold enough to raise the fares. If I am going to be safe, why will I not pay a few hundred rupees more? Don't make me pay as much as the flight.
Right.
But at least a reasonable level, let everybody pay.
Right.
So, and say already they are doing it Rajdhani and all flexi fares and all that. Why not otherwise also fix the standard at a reasonable level where railways can run safely and on time?
But given the fact that railway budget will be merged with the general budget, what do you feel? Will it make some kind of a difference? Are we going to see some kind of a difference this year as far as budgeting is concerned, bringing in investments, or maybe talking about maintenance, overhaul? Will we see any kind of impact because of this?
I don't think up till now the what will be, that will be in the budget. But what we have been transpired, or what we have felt, that nothing is going to change.
Okay.
Because if there will
but
be
isn't
any,
it like a surrendering attitude? You've already surrendered, nothing will change.
If there will be any change, the only more than 10,000 rupees, which they 10,000 crore rupees, which they are paying as a dividend, that is going to be wiped out.
Okay.
But railway have to earn, and on their earning, they have to pay their staff, they have to pay for the fuel, they have to pay for the maintenance, they have to give pensioners their hard-earned pension.
Right.
So every expenditure will be done by the earning of the railways only.
Right.
The problem is that the government should take some responsibility. It is a government's children, so don't treat it as orphan. They must give some hefty amount for this railway system. When Atalji was the Prime Minister, and
so according to what you're saying, the first priority should be to replenish funds like DRF and DF.
I'm giving you an example that when NDA government, last NDA government was there, Atalji was the Prime Minister.
Right.
And when Nitish Kumar went, that this Indian railway needs a hefty amount. So he given in the name of the safety, he has created a special safety fund.
Right.
24,000 crore. And that was the reason these tracks were improved, signalling was improved, rolling stock was improved. And that was the reason that after that, Lalu earned the benefit of that. He increased the axle load. So he earned a lot of money also that time. So if you want that the railway should run safely and it should give the consumers what they want, so some investment must be there.
So some
but that
investment should be
investment
made.
cannot be a private one. I'm very sure.
Okay.
That can be only if the government want to.
We can
put
leave
some
this
money
for
in
another day to discuss whether the railway should be privatized or not. But there is a general consensus that the government needs to be more sensitive about railway safety. At the same time, you need bullet trains, you need Wi-Fi systems, of course, but that is for a very small percentage of people. But that brings me to the larger question that irrespective of which government has been in power.
I will take 1 minute more.
Yes.
It's not a political issue. So far,
No, I'm not treating it as a political issue.
So far, Suresh Prabhu is concerned.
Okay.
In person, he is putting his
Very quickly, sir.
he is putting his all sweat and blood.
Right.
That how we can improve this.
Right.
Unfortunate is that the priorities of the bureaucrats are different.
Okay, priorities of the bureaucrats are different. But my larger question is that has Indian Railways lost its focus, and do we need a generational shift? Dinesh Trivedi, through a column today, has raised this big issue that does Indian Railway needs a generational shift right now?
Like Mishra ji said, government should support financially and
very
make
quickly, sir, I'm really running out of time.
vibrant. But at the same time, railway should also find out other ways of generating revenue.
Right.
The advertisement, transmission, they have been talking of many things, but nothing is being actually done. So one follows the other. You have to do the complete thing. You can't do just one and not do the other.
So is the government capable of looking at Indian Railways comprehensively?
Of course, I will say common man is not concerned whether budget is merged with the central government or not. Minister, who is the minister? He requires safety, and as rightly said by this minister last year, that even if we will run a small, less train, will may be late, but there should not be any accidents. So this has to be our goal for Indian Railway.
Right. Mr. Gopal Sharma, Mishra ji, your last thoughts before we close the show?
I am very clear that if government is going to take the responsibility and give some money, I am very sure that the railwaymen are dedicated and they never want there should be any accident. We have always, when we had been in the railways, we are in the railways, so we want that the passenger who is coming to our railway system, he must reach his home safely. So that is our motto and that is our objective.
Okay.
And
So
we will definitely do that in future also. It is unfortunate that this accident happened.
Right. In fact, we have discussed almost all the problems which are ailing the Indian Railways. I hope the political class is also watching the show to understand, and as you said, that the bureaucrats are also need to be equally sensitive. So we do need to update our modern technology. We do need bullet trains, Wi-Fi's, out of the state-of-the-art catering systems. But of course, as far as railway safety is concerned, that needs to be treated with utmost priority. Thanks to all my guests, Ganapathy, Subramaniam, Prempal, Sharma, Shiv, Gopal, Mishra ji. Thank you so much, and also thank you to Arvind ji, who had joined us on the phone line. Thanks to all my guests. So we'll come back with another issue of Big Picture, same time. Thanks. Goodbye.